Hello, welcome to Learn Cantonese, Mastering Conversation for Beginners. In this lecture, I would give a conversation analysis in the topic of family. So again, I would first go through the conversation in full Cantonese at normal speed, and then I would explain what the conversation says in English, and then afterwards we're gonna read along, and then we're gonna break down sentence by sentence as to what it is about. So now, let's get started. 李先生，我今日要早走，你要去邊啊？我要帶我父母去機場，有冇其他人可以送佢哋去？我有一個哥哥同一個妹妹，不過佢哋都唔喺香港。冇問題，我唔阻你啦，拜拜。So, what does the conversation actually say? Well, Mr. Ho said to Mr. Lee that he needs to leave early today. And Mr. Lee says, "Where are you going?" Mr. Ho then said, "I have to take my parents to the airport." Mr. Lee then asks, "Can anyone else take your parents to the airport?" Mr. Ho then replies, "I have an older brother and a younger sister, but they are not in Hong Kong." And Mr. Lee says, "Okay, no problem. Anyways, I don't want to bother you anymore. Bye." Again now, let's read it alongside with me. So first of all, as you can see from here, and from the last lecture, 何先生 is Mr. Ho in this case, and 李先生 is Mr. Lee in this case. And these two characters I would use probably as the main characters for all lectures and conversation in this course. So read it with me. I am going to say it in a slow pace. Try to follow the English phonetics in those kanji below. 何先生 said, 李先生，我今日要早走。李先生 said, 你要去邊呀？ Then 何先生 replied, 我要帶我父母去機場。李先生 then asked, 有冇其他人可以送佢哋去？ Mr. Ho or 何先生 then replies, 我有一個哥哥同一個妹妹，不過佢哋都唔喺香港。李先生 then said, 冇問題，我唔阻 你啦，拜拜。Now, you might see a lot of repeating words that you already seen in the last lecture. If you recognized any, it's a really good sign. It means that you are improving and you are learning in Cantonese. Congratulations. Again, I am going to break down each sentence one by one and describe to you what it means. So, in the first sentence, in Cantonese, it says, 李先生，我今日要早走。So, in English, it actually means, Mr. Lee, I need to leave early today. Now, as you probably would know already, because if you don't, you might be in trouble, or I might be in trouble teaching you guys. Lei Xin-sang means Mr. Lee, as I have emphasized from the last lecture. Now, after the comma, the first kanji, no, means me, and this has been talked about before. And the next two kanjis, you would read it together as one, and it says gamya. So what does gamya means? It means today. Gamya means today. Another probably a very common kanji is the next one, which is you. And you've probably seen it before in the last lecture. You means need. And the first four kanji, when combined together, reads 我今日要. It means today I need to. The last two kanji, the first one, 早 means early, and 走 means to go or to leave. So the whole sentence after the comma in context would be I need to leave early today, in which in Cantonese is 我今日要早走. Now, as I have said earlier, 今日 means today. Now, if you want to say yesterday, it is 琴日. And if you want to say tomorrow, it is 聽日. Okay. The next sentence is a very short one. So the Cantonese version is 你要去邊啊? So what does that mean? Well, in English, it means where are you going? Now, you probably have learned this before from my more beginner phrases lectures. 你 means you, and then 去 means to go. I'm not going to repeat the ones that I have said many times before. 邊. Now, 邊is a very multiple meaning word. Without context, it might mean side or boundaries, but in this case, when we put with the kanji before it, which is 去, to go, 去邊 actually means where are you going? So actually, if you actually just say 去邊, people would know what you are asking, which is the same as where are you going. But the whole sentence 你要去邊啊 makes it a more complete sentence and has more context in it. But actually 去邊 in itself actually carries the whole meaning. Now the last kanji is a particle, and really it's hard to define rules for this, and I'm going to talk about it more thoroughly in my other videos. Now, by now you would probably question, I thought this lecture is about family. Well, where are the information about how to say something with my family in it? Well, this sentence is the start of it. So in Cantonese is 我要帶我父母去機場. Again, 我要帶我父母去機場. And in English it says I have to take my parents to the airport. As you've seen from before, 我 is I or my, you is need, 帶 I have actually introduced this in my other course about verbs, but 帶 is actually to take. Now 父母 in this case, after the second 我 in this sentence, 父母 means parents. So 我要帶我父母 means I need to take my parents. And then the last three kanji, 去機場. 機場 means airport in Cantonese, and 去 means to go. So the whole context, 去機場 means go to the airport. Now the whole sentence then, 我要帶我父母去機場 means I have to take my parents to the airport. So as I've said earlier, 父母 means parents. So when you break down these two kanji, 父 actually means father, and 母 actually means mother. So in a really formal way of saying father, and actually the formal way of written language is 父親. 父親. So that's why we use 父 as the first kanji for parents. And the formal way of saying mother is 母親. 母親, which is when we take the first kanji of that, when we put into the second kanji, like the mo put into that, it means parents, which comprises of father and the mother. Now there are different ways of calling father. This can be 父親, 爸爸, 老豆, or 阿爸. And then there are also several ways to call mother, such as 母親, 媽咪, 媽媽, and 阿媽. Now let's have more in-depth look at how you call family. In English, whether or not your grandfather is your father of your mother or your father, it would be called the same, right? Which is grandfather. However, in Chinese, it is a bit different. So when I tell you that um, the father of your mother is actually called gong gong. Again, the father of your mother is actually called gong gong, and that is the kanji, the two kanjis that you see in the top. Now, if you're talking about the mother of your mother, which is your grandmother on the mother's side, it's actually called po po. Again, your grandmother in your mother's side is called po po, and that is the kanjis that are shown on the second row. Now, if your grandfather is on your father's side, it is actually called ye ye in Cantonese. Again, ye ye. Now that is the kanjis that are in third from the top. Now, if it's the grandmother from your father's side, it would actually be ma 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 in Cantonese, and again, that is the most bottom kanji that you've seen in this slide. Now, in Cantonese, we are very, very sophisticated in naming our family members because family are very important in our culture, and so in-laws are the same. So as you can see from just the kanji, it is every single name would be different. So when you call your in-law, like your wife's father would be different than if you're a woman and you're calling your husband's father. So let's say if I am the husband, and if I'm addressing my wife's father, I would say I would call him Ngoi Fu. Again, uh, the father of my wife would be called Ngoi Fu, and that is the kanji, the two kanjis in the top of the slide. Now, if I'm addressing my wife's mother, it would be Ngoi Mo. Again, if I am addressing my wife's mother, I would call her Ngoi Mo, and that would be the second row. That would be the kanjis for Ngoi Mo. Now, if I am the wife and I am calling my husband's father, it would be Lo Ye. Lo Ye. Again, if I am the wife and if I'm calling my husband's father, it would be Lo Ye. And that would be the kanjis in the third row from the top. Lastly, if I'm the wife and call addressing my husband's mother, it would be Lai Lai. Lai Lai. Again, if I am addressing my husband's mother, it would be Lai Lai. That would be the kanji in the bottom box. Now, since we're talking about in-laws, um, let's talk about how we call the husband and wives. So, um, from the left, um, the top row is actually the husband side, and the bottom row is the kanjis for um, the wife side. So the first one, 丈夫, 丈夫. Again, the left top cell in this spreadsheet, 丈夫 is actually not as well used for calling one's husband. You but sometimes you might address your husband, or someone might address your husband as 丈夫. However, it's seldomly used, but it still would be used sometimes. There are more common ones. Now the next column, like the middle column, the top is 老公. 老公. Now this one is actually the informal version of calling husband. So it's used among close friends when they're describing their husbands or other friends' husbands. But it wouldn't be used in a formal fashion when you're addressing, let's say, in a business sense, the other person's husband. But you might describe your husband. You might, when you're addressing or something that involves with saying your husband, you might use this as well. So the bottom row of the middle column pronounces 老婆, 老婆. And this is actually the informal way of saying wife in Cantonese. Again, it's almost the same context as using 老公 for husband. Now, the right column is more or less the most formal way in addressing. This usually is in business, when in business conversations or in conversations where you don't know the other person too well and you're trying to address his or her partner. Xin sang, that's the top row, right most column, Xin sang. Now you might notice from before, like Mr. Lee and Mr. Ho, Xin sang is actually Mr. and Tai Tai is actually the bottom one is actually Mrs. So when you're addressing a more formal situation, you would actually say your Mr. or your Mrs. If you're addressing the person that you don't know too well, the significant other of theirs. I hope that does make sense. I know it's a bit different than English, but this is how Cantonese works. Now, let's look at the next sentence. So in Cantonese, it actually is 有冇其他人可以送佢哋去? Now in English, this actually can be translated as, can anyone else take your parents to the airport? However, I have to say in the Cantonese version, I didn't have airport in there. And I just ended with basically, do you have anyone else that they can, that could take them to go there? basically. So, anyways, um, the first two words. The first one is actually means have, and the second word, the second kanji mo means don't have. In which this kanji, these two kanji together, yao mo, combined is means anything or anyone else. I know it sounds a bit weird, but this is how it goes, I guess. Um, so, anyways, in the next one, the three kanjis will actually go together, and it pronounces keitayan. So keita is other, and yan means people. So I actually have to retract a bit. Yao mo in this case is more or less is there, and then keitayan means anyone else, in which keita means other and yan means people or person. 可以, the next two kanjis, they go together. It means can in English. So 可以 means can. Song. Now, I included this to actually give you more variety of verbs and words that you can look at. What happened is you could actually use the last word, take, or die in Cantonese, like the one that I used in the last sentence when I said take your parents, I have to take my parents to the airport. Song is actually the same. You could use it the same ways, basically. But it's also used as to give as a verb. I actually describe it more thoroughly in my other Cantonese verb course. If you're interested in it, by all means, look at our other lectures. Now, 佢 I already have described it as him or her. But, however, with they, like day, and the next kanji, if you combine them together, it means them. So it's a plural. When you put they in after 佢, it means plural. It is plural. So 佢哋 actually means them. And lastly, 去. I've already said it before. It means to go in Cantonese. Okay, so now let's look at this long sentence. So you've probably seen a lot of these kanji before, but some of them might still be quite not yet captured in your brain yet. But anyways, the sentence in Cantonese actually says 我有一個哥哥同一個妹妹，不過佢哋都唔喺香港。Now, this sentence actually translated to I have an older brother and a younger sister, but they are not in Hong Kong. Now, the first two kanji, 我有 means I have, which I think that you probably learned before. The next two kanji, the first kanji, 一, pretty easy, it means one, and 個, again, I have described it earlier. This is for these kanjis is for when numbering different objects, nouns, person, animal, and it's different when you're numbering these, but take note that when you're actually counting people, um, you would usually use go. So in this case, when we said I have an older brother, I have one older brother, you would say 我有一個哥哥, in which brother means is 哥哥 in Cantonese. And pay attention to the intonation, even though kanji is the same. We actually has a higher tone at the next at the second kanji, so it's go, 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 go. So the next one is a tone. Tone, Tone. I hope this is the best I can do. Tone in Cantonese means and. It's not the same as how we use and in English, but in this case it fits well. So tone means and. Like I have an older brother and a younger sister, I would use this tone in this case. And again, 一個妹妹, one younger sister, and 妹妹 is the kanji for younger sister. And again, the tonation would be the second kanji would be higher than the first kanji. Now, after the comma, you see but go. These two kanjis go hand in hand. It means but. So but in Cantonese is but go. 佢哋都唔喺香港. Now 佢哋, I just told you that it means them. 都 in this case means two. 都唔喺香港. 唔喺 means not in. In this case means not. 喺 in this case is in. And Hong Kong, of course, is 香港 is Hong Kong. Now, I would going to just stop with telling you how to say brothers and sisters in Cantonese, because going to further down the line, like cousins, uncles, it would probably take days. Seriously, because each of them on mother and the father side would be different, and also whether if it's younger than you or older than you is different. Also, if when it is born under an uncle older than your father would be different in terms of compared to, like, let's say a cousin that is born in an uncle that is younger than your father's age. Yeah, it's really confusing. So in this lecture, I would just end with your immediate family, so it's your direct siblings, your parents and your in-laws and your grandparents. That's it. So anyways, enough of the BS. So siblings. Let's say if your brother, if it's your older brother, you would call them go, and that is the kanji at the top. If it's your younger brother, you would call them dai, and that is the Cantonese version of younger brother, which is dai. And that is the second row of the kanji. Now, if you're saying older sister, it would be 姐姐. That would be your older sister, and that would be the kanji the second from the bottom. And now if you're talking about younger sister, you would say mui mui, mui mui, and that is the younger sister, and the kanji is the most bottom of the current slide. So this is the end of the lecture. I know that it's a lot of materials that I've covered. However, I encourage you to review all of the materials that I have presented until you are sure that you have mastered everything. It is also highly recommended that you buy a Cantonese study guide or textbook to work alongside with this course to optimize your time in learning this language. And if you wanted to support us, please buy it from our Amazon storefront in our website. It is of no extra cost to you. However, part of the money would be sent to us as commissions, and in which those money we could use it to create and support us to for creating more materials for you guys. Now, also, if you are ready in mastering this course and you know for sure that you know everything, we also have a quiz for you. If you are viewing this on the website or in our mobile app, you can see it in the description of the video in the app or in the website of which you're viewing this video right now. Or if you are viewing this from YouTube, I've also included the link to our quiz in the YouTube description found below. I hope you do well, and I hope you could master this language. Thank you for looking at this course, and have yourself a great day.